Hello and welcome. I really wanted to share my recent game where I got 99%. Just kidding. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was a player who is a student of the program, actually. And this is the kind of work, the kind of magic that can happen. All right. 99%. But on the other hand, on just the same day, he got 66%. So this comes with the trade, of playing good and playing bad. It's a give and take. So let's get on with the game from the student perspective. It was black here, 99% game. That's what you're about to watch. And well, it's just precise opening play. But one thing I will point out right here is rookie one is given a question mark, and this is a common pattern I noticed in a lot of players is they after they are done with the opening moves, they end up making a rather perfunctory rook move like this, and it tends to typically not be the most precise. Just noting that out here. Of course, here he hasn't even developed the knight or the other bishop. Interesting idea here to, of course, spin the knight and threaten that, but yes. And this is a wonderful tactical execution. Wonderful tactical execution. That was obviously the point. You have to see this. And Desperado, a Desperado, but it doesn't seem. Hey, wait a second. Oh, Desperado with a lovely ability for the queen to capture back. That's interesting. Very nice, very nice. Good execution there. Excellent execution. Of course, the plan all falls apart because ordinarily you won't be able to capture that knight with your queen. You'd have to move away and then the queen captures the bishop. But here the Desperado doesn't fail. So that's the 99% for you game for you guys, and I think it was really just a sharp tactical play. But here in the next game, you can see it's a total flip around, in fortune. So let's have a look at the 600 level game. So far, so good. B4. B4 is aggressive. I guess the black king is kind of vulnerable here. You see, there are a lot of these kind of angles which are very promising. So unlike a stable position, a typical stable position where this may not be as much of a question mark move, here I reckon the computer's idea is that you capture, capture, and if the knight dares to come here, then the queen comes in, attacking the knight and threatening a check, and a lot of trouble after that. So that's my interpretation of AI's recommendation. Something like that. Okay. Interesting switch. Why to switch? Why? What's the point? Interesting. Popping the question right away misses the chance to unleash hell. You see, because the black king really is exposed like a sitting duck. So right now, you can just try to unleash hell and really get the screws on this guy. Let's have a look at what that looks like. Yeah, it requires that the king move out of harm's way immediately. This I'm not a fan of. I mean, aside from the fact that he can end passant, even if he just comes back here, that's such a nice square for his bishop, actually. Oh, even your, and your, I don't know. It's just, of course, he should end passant, but this is. Okay, we got a flurry of moves. And he didn't capture f4 while he had the chance. But now he's really coming in for some shitstorm of an attack. See, here you're playing like a goddamn GM, aren't you? Just admit it. You watched Vishwanathan Anand and you got inspired and now you want to try to play like that, right? But you got to go all the way, man. You can't just do all this work and then play. What is that? B3? Huh? What is that? Non-move. You gotta go. This is a jugular move. It's a very tough move to find. I mean, what is it? Knight capture. Let's have a look at the knight capture, and then after that, what? Queen takes and knight comes in. Well, well, it's very tough. I won't deny that it's a tough combination. It's a tough combination. Fine. It's a big miss, right? Because of the rook. Okay. And the point was the Zhuishensog that you got here, but your knight is well, he can come back then. Okay. Oh, holy smokes. That's a huge ass blunder. So the point was that black queen can come in right here and then attack two birds at the same time and bust the position, or almost bust it. I guess the knight can still come back here and sort of hold on to this, even though you might lose this. Actually, it busts. The position gets busted. Yeah. But that's the thing. If unless you go all the way, you can sometimes miss it. So here we have an example of a missed opportunity, and then just capturing all these forks, and uh, yeah, it's getting messy. But someone resigned or something happened. Yeah. Okay. Next game is a more modest 80 versus 73. Bad endgame play. So this could be the most instructive, perhaps, from a learning perspective. We are up against a Palestinian, so that is worth noting. Maybe that influenced the way the game went. And all in all, it's a pretty solid endgame battle. Sorry, opening battle. I quite think this is some decent chess here. Mm. A few moves which are a little nice capture there. Good X. This is solid. I'm just taking it off. Defending. Very solid game so far. Nothing really to complain about, but here it can get a bit tricky. If you're not careful, and he's careful enough. So it's all fine until here. It's not a big deal. I guess it's just not optimal. Still pretty decent though. But now with the spawn, things can get a little bit tricky. You see, that's the thing here. The pawn can make things tricky. Seems like a pretty high caliber game from black at the moment. But that tricky knight. Okay, now here this is a key moment in the game because the point of the knight queen coming here versus there is of course the back rank. You're keeping more of an eye on the back rank. And that appears to be a critical motif here, but let's try to see if we can get a peek into further moves as to how much of an impact that really makes. I mean, it's tough to really say like how much worse this was, but basically what the computer should have done here now to punish that was to capture there and here, right? The point is, of course, the knight fork motif was on the cards there. So that was the key part of this. Okay, interesting. Oh, that's a huge blunder. God damn it. Fell right into that. Okay. Okay, so we saw what happened there. It was just your regular knight fork. Knights are tricky pieces, and he was low on time. This stuff happens. This stuff happens. Okay. And the last game that we have here for today is another 73% playing and a modest game. So let's have a look into it. Let's flip the pieces. Great move. One thing we have to say is that the opening play has improved remarkably, although it's not perfect by any means, but you can definitely see improvement. This is, I mean, I thought it was a pretty decent move. It looks decent. Bishop back there is not the kind of move I would ordinarily think of, but the point here is that the knight. Well, what is the bloody point? The point is that you can disrupt his pawn structure, yeah, but why couldn't the knight have just come here? Okay, you lose this, and then it becomes even more painful. And the queen and bishop basically operate as a bishop pair. It's interesting, but disrupting the pawn structure was really the point here. Okay, that's a predictably human move to defend that. Very human move, but here, of course, losing a key piece. Now black just has to hold the fort, and yeah, we're getting a lovely trade of pieces to go with it. So everything looking very smooth here. Very good play, professional play. Uh, I wouldn't give this a great rating. I mean, this move here, this question mark move, was the real problem. And that led to you making, you know, oh, that was. Okay, this is a gift win. This is a gift win on many levels. I mean, trading pieces when you're down like that is not a great strategy from white. Maybe the most overrated 1200er we've seen on the program. But this is not an easy finish either. It can get messy. Oh, you're pushing. You're pushing, bro. You shouldn't push so much. Just take what you. Well, what else should he do? Maybe I would have thought come here. Okay, attack this and then attack both of these at the same time. The problem with that is the spawn could run close, but you always have the back alley move back here, except you don't always have it because the king can come forward. So it's a little tricky. I'm not going to deny it's tricky. Bishop here was what the computer suggested. That's a tough one, yeah. That is a tough one to spot. Okay. But yeah, now the problem is that this is a pawn that's difficult to keep an eye on everything. And here you might end up playing a lot of moves without anything happening. There you should pretty much always capture. If you've got the doubled pawns, it's like 9 out of 10 times you should just capture. Don't expect him to capture here. That ain't gonna happen. Oh, a lot of stuff happening here in the game, and I think black is definitely in danger of losing the game. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Wow. What a game, what a game, what a game. All right. Was this the one with the endgame miss? No, it was like an average endgame. So as usual, the endgame woes continue to plague the young student. And well, let's try to understand this a bit better. Let's try to understand this. So we ran out of time, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we ran out of time on the program. But if you sign up for the advanced course, then you